Authenticity is the new currency. When I heard that the other day, it struck a chord with me and I thought, dang, I love that. So I want to have this discussion today because where we are in life, being inauthentic just isn't an option anymore. In today's fast-paced, digitally driven, often full of pretense world, we find ourselves facing inauthenticity everywhere. We see politicians, business leaders, and famous actors and singers fall from grace as their inauthenticity is exposed. Add to that a layer of greed and dishonesty, and we admit that trust is hard to come by. So it's not surprising that authenticity has emerged as a vital and refreshing currency. It's the foundation of meaningful relationships, impactful leadership, and a fulfilling life. Is there any other way to live? Welcome to Her Second Stage, the podcast dedicated to inspiring successful women in the next stage of their lives. I'm Hilda Landerstedt, and I'm excited to share the lessons I've learned as I transitioned into my second stage. Join me on this exciting journey of sisterhood and remembering who we are at our core. Remember, no matter where you've been, the best is yet to come. Authenticity is the art of being true to who we are, true to your beliefs, your values, emotions, and aspirations, and expressing yourself in a way that aligns with that core identity. It means embracing your unique qualities, strengths, and even vulnerabilities without the need to conform to societal expectations. Authenticity isn't about perfection. It's about honesty with yourself and alignment with your inner self. Being authentic involves speaking and acting in alignment with your values, accepting your flaws as part of your human experience, living with integrity, even when it's a challenge. I love this quote by Brené Brown that says, authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. Authenticity is not just a buzzword, but the new currency for a life well lived. If we know we need to be authentic, but yet many of us are struggling, or we see other people struggling, how can we be authentic in a world that rewards conformity? We've all learned to wear masks to fit into societal molds or meet external expectations. These masks can take various forms. The perfect mother who always puts others first, the successful professional who hides her struggles and maintain an image, or the always happy friend who suppresses her true feelings to avoid discomfort. We often wear these masks to gain acceptance or to avoid criticism or meet the expectation of others. Over time, wearing masks can lead to a disconnect from our authentic selves. Let's face it, in a society that constantly tells us how to look, behave, and even age, it's not surprising that many of us have lost touch with our authentic selves. For women, especially for us over 50, the challenge is even greater because there's this misconception of our value that diminishes with our age. I want us to look at this stage of life as a stage that offers an incredible opportunity to reconnect with our truth and rediscover living authentically. I want to just take this moment and let you think back to your childhood or just think back over your life. Can you remember a time when you acted purely out of joy or curiosity without caring or worrying about judgment? That is authenticity in its purest form. After doing some research, I found there are several reasons why authenticity feels like an uphill battle. Many of us fear being vulnerable. We're often so scared to show our core identity to the world because we're scared of the vulnerability and that feeling of vulnerability. We fear judgment, rejection, or criticism if others possibly don't like us. We're also scared that we might be labeled as inadequate or feel unworthy. Many of these fears stem from what we were told as young children or growing adults, often due to criticism by siblings or even a parent. You want to hear my personal story? Yeah, well, I'm going to just share it. As a child, I was really very shy and very introverted. My mother told me that no one would like me if I stayed that way. Those words stayed with me and made me believe that I wasn't enough when I'm shy and introverted. I felt I had to change, and I pushed myself to become an extrovert, just to gain mainly her acceptance. It took me some years to realize that by suppressing my inner introvert, I was suppressing a big part of myself. Now, I understand that embracing who I am, shyness and all, is where my real strength lies. The introverted me observe and let other people shine, and the extroverted me makes this podcast. As I embrace both aspects of myself, extrovert and introvert, and give both parts what it needs, I became more authentic. From a young age, many of us taught to conform to society's expectations of who we should be, whether it's being a good girl, the perfect mother, the ideal employee. We as women are conditioned to prioritize others, even if it doesn't feel good to us, which means we often have to suppress our true desires and wants. Many women face roles that demand we care for others, often at the expense of ourselves. If we believe and internalize the message of society that tells us our worth lies in how much we can give, we could easily neglect our own needs and we become someone else. By midlife, this conditioning can feel like a cage that's difficult to escape from, causing us to feel stressed and unhappy. These feelings of stress and unhappiness is our sign that we are disconnected from who we really are, and we should not ignore it. The fear of vulnerability, judgment, and rejection in an unsafe world means sharing our parts of ourselves that we fear others may judge or reject is really risky. I love what Brené Brown says. She says vulnerability is not weakness. It's a birthplace of connection and courage. I just love that, don't you? There's so many cultural narratives about aging. As we face transitions like menopause, empty nesting, or career shifting, we often question our identity. We get to the stage where we ask ourselves, who am I? Our second stage renders both a challenge and an opportunity. We can either cling to old roles or embrace the chance to reinvent ourselves authentically. What we need to do is to change the narrative that aging equals decline. And when we do, we can let go of versions of ourselves that we no longer are and embrace the wisdom and freedom that comes with that. If we continue to internalize these external pressures and continue with creating limiting beliefs about who we are and what we're capable of, we will create a disconnect from our true selves that will manifest as stress, unhappiness, and even physical ailments. So what do we mean by the currency of authenticity? Authenticity is a currency because it creates value in every area of our life. Let's look at how this can apply. Currency of enhanced well-being. Suppressing your true self creates stress, anxiety, and even physical ailments and illnesses. Research have shown that people who live authentically experience less stress, greater mental health, and they report high levels of happiness and lower levels of depression. Reduced stress levels contribute to better immune function, lower blood pressure, and overall vitality. And so being authentic can really boost your physical health. When you're not pretending to be someone you're not, you free yourself from the burden of maintaining a facade with the result of greater health and well-being. The second currency of authenticity is the currency of improved relationships. Being authentic means we can foster and strengthen deeper connections. When you show up as your true self, you inspire others to do the same. Our vulnerability and bravery is the gift to others. Superficial relationships will soon fall away, leaving space for meaningful ones that can thrive. You attract people who genuinely appreciate you for who you are. The currency of authenticity in leadership. Authentic leaders inspire loyalty and respect. By leading with integrity, you create culture of openness and innovation. Teams are more likely to thrive under leaders who models authenticity. You attract opportunities that align with your true values and goals. When you are genuine, the universe seems to mirror that back, creating pathways to success. And this is another currency of authenticity, the currency of a stronger sense of purpose. For many of us, purpose and legacy becomes a focus point, especially as we enter the later years and in our 50s. Legacy is more than accomplishments only. It's about the impact we've made by being fully ourselves. Living authentically helps us align our actions and our values. This alignment creates a sense of purpose and fulfillment that is especially important in the second stage of life. Living authentically inspires future generations. They will remember your courage, not how you conform, and your courage will help others to be courageous and also be true to themselves. You being authentic and true to yourself create a ripple effect of positivity and courage by modeling these values. This is how we build legacy and how we should be remembered. In a culture saturated with filters, curated personas, and unrealistic standards, authenticity is a breath of fresh air. It's rare, and rarity creates value. Here's 3 reasons why authenticity matters. You build trust. Authentic people are transparent and honest, which foster truth in relationships, in both personal and professional settings. People gravitate to those that are genuine. I am sure you've experienced that in your own life, and you gravitating to people that are authentically themselves. Authenticity is a catalyst for connection. When you show your true self, you allow others to do the same. This deepens relationships and creates meaningful bonds. Authenticity gives you the freedom to live without fear for judgment or rejection. By showing up as your true self, you reclaim your power and autonomy. Reconnecting with yourself and practicing vulnerability are 2 aspects to consider to cultivate authenticity. When you take the time to reconnect with yourself, think about your values, dreams, and passions, and maybe write those down in your journal. Ask yourself, what truly brings me joy? And remember, joy and pleasure is always the guiding beam. Ask yourself, what am I tolerating that no longer serves me? And then work on a plan to let go of those things. And when you practice vulnerability, make a conscious decision to share your feelings honestly, trusted friends and loved ones. The more you do, the easier it gets. But remember, vulnerability is not oversharing, and you should still be able to have boundaries around oversharing. Life is about alignment, courage, and continuous commitment to showing up and the truest version of yourself. So now that we've looked at what authenticity is, and the value of being authentic, and the currency of being authentic is, I want to give a couple of minutes looking at what authenticity is not. Because when we understand what authenticity isn't, we can gain insight and create awareness and better recognition for inauthentic aspects, both in ourselves or with people. There's the 10 myths of authenticity. Myth number 1, Some people think authenticity means being perfect and always having to have your shit together. The truth is, authenticity embraces imperfections. It's about being real, not flawless. Struggles, mistakes, and vulnerabilities are part that make you human. Myth number 2 is authenticity is not oversharing, sharing every detail of your life or broadcasting everything. It's about aligning your actions and words with your true self while respecting boundaries and context. Myth number 3, once you discover your authentic self, it's static and unchanged. This is not true. Rather, the truth is, authenticity evolves as you grow, learn, and experience life. Your value and priorities may shift over time, and that's okay. Myth number 4, being authentic means rejecting all norms of societal expectations. Authenticity is not rebellion for rebellion's sake. Authenticity doesn't mean being a contrarian. It means thoughtfully choosing what aligns with us, even if it sometimes fits within societal norms. Myth number 5, being authentic means doing whatever you want, whenever you want, without considering others. No, authenticity is not self-indulgence. Authenticity respects both your truth and the needs and boundaries of others. It's not selfish, it's balanced. Myth number 6, to be authentic, you have to be fearless in expressing yourself. No, the truth is, authenticity is not the absence of fear. Authenticity often requires courage to act in alignment with your values despite the fear. The presence of fear doesn't make you inauthentic, it just makes you human. Myth number 7, once you declare, this is who I am, you've achieved authenticity. No, ma'am. Authenticity is not a one-time declaration. Authenticity is a daily practice of staying true to yourself. It requires ongoing self-awareness and the willingness to realign when you drift. Myth number 8, authenticity is about getting others to recognize you and affirm your uniqueness. The truth is, authenticity is not about validation. True authenticity doesn't depend on external approval. It's about being true to yourself, regardless of others' opinions. Myth number 9, being authentic means you can say and do whatever's on your mind, no matter how it impacts others. The truth is, authenticity includes kindness and emotional intelligence. It's about expressing your truth while being considerate to others' feelings. Authenticity is not harsh honesty. Our last myth, myth number 10, being authentic means only doing what you like or what feels comfortable. The truth is, authenticity sometimes involves discomfort, like setting boundaries, confronting fears, and make tough decisions to honor your values. So authenticity is not just what feels good. These truths should give you a lot of clarity as to how to be and recognize authenticity. And I hope this podcast episode inspired you to recommit to yourself and your own growth and your life. Here are some of the things I would like you to take away with you. Take some time to connect with your inner self. Ask yourself and journal about what brings me joy. What do I fear others might judge me for? When do I feel most alive and true to myself? If you need to make some realignments toward authenticity, take small steps to practice and do so in low-stake situations like expressing a genuine opinion, wear that outfit that feels good to you, or share the truth with someone that you trust. But these are but a few examples. I would love to hear from you and what you do and your steps you're taking to realign yourself towards your authentic you. Acknowledge that not everyone will like or understand the real you, and that that's okay. Release the need to be liked, release the need for approval, and embrace the need to be real as we set ourselves free. Look for others. Build a circle of people who support and celebrate your truth. Let go of relationships that require you to perform or to shrink to a smaller version of yourself. I think it's a true blessing when we surround ourselves with authenticity. Authenticity is and should be more than a buzzword. It's your highest frequency, your greatest asset, and your path to freedom. As you step into this stage of life, let authenticity be your compass. Authenticity is your gift to the world. In a time where so much feel uncertain and unreliable, your authenticity can be a guiding light. So embrace your true self. The world is lucky to have you. As we wrap up today's episode, I invite you to take one small step this week. Maybe it's saying no to something that doesn't align with your values. Maybe it's having an honest conversation or spending time rediscovering what lights you up. Remember, authenticity is your currency. It's what makes you rich in love, connections, purpose, health, and even financial. If this episode resonates with you, please share with a friend who could use a reminder to embrace her authentic self. Connect with me on social media or leave a review to let me know how you're living your authenticity and your authentic life. Remember to visit hersecondStage.com, where you'll find supporting documents and tools and information about the Second Stage community. Until next time, stay true to yourself and keep on shining.